everybody, I'm Cheeto and you're watching the DOCTUS Project Bite Size. So as you can see, I'm clearly enjoying the sound of the music from my playlist. For centuries, music has been used for enjoyment, communication, and so much more. So today we chat with Jason Kenna, music therapist, to discover what music therapy is and how we can use it to improve our everyday mental well-being. So stick around. Here we are with Jason Kennedy. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Cheeto.
So Jason is a registered music therapist, researcher, and lecturer working within music therapy. Jason has developed music therapy programs in public hospital and community settings, helping patients cope with hospital admission, as well as building communities of musicians. So thank you for joining us, Jason.
Thanks for having me.
Right. So I guess to start off with, could you tell us a bit about when and why you decided to enter into the field of music therapy?
Yeah, sure. My story is pretty typical of a lot of music therapists. I was a musician for a while, and I was always interested in a career in music, but wasn't really sure that I would be a performer, and wasn't really that keen on just being a music teacher. And then when I heard about music therapy and looked into it, I realised that it had a sort of a science, psychology bent to it, and it was also about helping people as well, and I was interested in doing something that was about assisting people rather than just being a performer, which is about really yourself more than anything else. And so I looked into that and thought that just seemed really interesting, and then spoke to a few music therapists and thought, yeah, this is for me, and then went to university and studied and continued on from there.
And what sort of things did the music therapists say who you spoke to that sort of solidified the idea for you to do music therapy?
Oh, that's a good... I can't remember anything that someone specifically said to me. It was more the philosophy of it, really, that appealed to me the most. Mm-hmm. And also, I like science as well, and psychology, and I'm really fascinated by human behaviour. And so for me, music therapy and mental health was really interesting. Mm-hmm. and appealing. And so that's where I ended up working as well. Once I finished training, most of my work has been in mental health.
Right. So it's got a bit of both, like the music aspect and psychology aspects. And would it be right to say kind of combines those two in a way, sort of?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's very much what you would call like it's particularly in mental health, okay, so music therapy is a pretty broad profession, but in mental health you would call it a psychosocial intervention for the most part. So it's about helping people to cope with their situation, and it's also about interpersonal skills and being able to sort of learn to, relate better with people in a more healthy way.
Right. And so how would it differ to other forms of, like, perhaps psychosocial therapy? So, for example, behavioral therapies. How is it different or the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's the same in terms of it draws on a lot of the same theories as say CBT or DBT. Also even just traditional psychotherapy, analytical psychotherapy, behavioural approaches to therapy as well. But what's different is that we use music as the primary medium to interact with somebody else. And so for me, the way I find that works really nicely is that you've got a really engaging medium for someone to work with you in. So, for example, I spent a lot of time on acute psych wards where, talking therapy isn't really that attractive for a lot of people particularly if they're having an involuntary admission and they don't even believe they should be in hospital. So talking about their mental health is not really that useful because they may not agree that they've actually got a problem. So you can engage someone into simply sitting down, playing some music, talking about the music, and from there the rapport and the relationship develops, and then other things come up from there. You can start talking about how they're coping with being in hospital, sorts of things that happen to them leading up to their admission, what their hopes are for when they do get discharged, what they'd like to be doing with their time, and sort of using music as the way of just sort of weaving in and out of that discussion. So it can be about music, and then it can be about the person's life, and then it's about music again. And so it's a nice way of just sort of traversing in and out of something that's familiar and normal, and something that's about their health and well-being.
So in a way, kind of making it easier to talk, well, not easier, but finding a way to engage with things that might not be easy to talk about straight away,
definitely.
by having something that we're all familiar with.
Yeah. So there's that side. There's also, music in itself is what we would call a health resource.
Mm-hmm.
So people can use music in a healthy way, and so helping patients in that context to learn about the way that they're using music every day. They're listening to music, or if lots of people have music skills. So we would have lots of people come on the ward who can play piano or play guitar, or they're even songwriters, or they write poetry, and helping them to sort of engage with that sort of a healthy way of using their talents and skills.
Right, yeah. And so we understand that it's a well-known fact that about 1 in 4 young Australians have a mental health condition. And while there are various resources for young people to access, such as counselling, support groups, or even coping strategies like meditation, exercise, or, for example, you've just mentioned learning how to use music in a healthy way. So just focusing on music therapy for this segment, what sort of strategies and techniques could we use in our everyday lives to help improve our mental health well-being, like by using music as a health resource?
So typically, like as a music therapist in the profession of music therapy, the way that we usually work, it's about a person-to-person interaction. But what you're talking more about now is just how does somebody then just on their own use music in a healthy way, which is good. And so that a lot of us will do it intuitively, particularly when we're well. So when we're doing pretty well, we're able to think about, how do I feel right now? What would I like to listen to that's going to help me feel, more like I'm feeling right now, if that's what you want, or is maybe going to move me to feel a bit more relaxed, or to stimulate me more, or that type of thing. But when we're not doing it so well, those skills tend to go by the wayside a little bit. And we might find ourselves ruminating on music that keeps us feeling down, or we might be listening to lots of really overstimulating music and keeping ourselves in a slightly agitated state. So on a really simple level, the main thing I would encourage young people to do is just ask themselves, how is this music making me feel? Is that how I want to feel right now? If it's not, what music would maybe make me feel the way that I would like to feel? So just simply, just a simple checking in, saying, where do I want to be right now, and is my listening helping me to achieve that?
Yeah.
And just start from there. I think it's a good point.
Great, yeah. Well, that was really helpful advice. So thank you for that. So coming up next, Jason has kindly agreed to play a tune for us. And so we'll be having our first ever DOCTUS Project Bite-Size Jam Session. Yeah.
Right. All right.
So here we are playing our rendition of Bob Marley's Three Little Birds. Also disclaimer, I am not a musician, he is, but I have brought my instrument, so take it away.
Let's go. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Rise up this morning, sit by my doorstep, singing sweet songs, the melodies pure and true, singing, this is my message to you, singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright, singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Beautiful.
Yay! So everybody, on that note, I'm Cheeto and you've been watching the Doctors Project Bite Size. Thanks again to Jason Kenner and we'll see you next time. See ya!
Bye.